Hey everybody, Brent here with Nutrition First Coaching. And on this week's Whiteboard Wednesday video, we're going to talk about what to do after a few bad days. Not just a bad meal or even a bad weekend, but a few bad days. What do you do to get back on track? What are the first things to concentrate on? And then what do you do from a mindset perspective after you've had a little rough patch? I just went through this, so I thought this was fitting to talk about. So let's get into the video and give you some ideas, give you some tips, give you some things to work with. So you had a bad stretch of days. I'm not talking like one bad day or bad meal or even a rough weekend. This can apply to that as well, but I'm talking 4 or 5 days or a week. And you want to know what to do next, because I just went through this scenario. We were just traveling. We left Wednesday afternoon. Everything got kind of screwed up. We got there super late. We were in Florida. We were visiting colleges for my daughter. Big time change. Had to get up early. We were super busy Thursday through Monday. Got back super late Monday. Had to get up, go to work, try to make it functional, make myself functional on Tuesday. And not only were we going a lot of places, but we weren't in one place at a time for any big stretch of time. And when we had a little micro fridge. So aside from being able to take some of my supplements and some of the morning routine stuff that I do, I was able to work out some with limited gym equipment. But then the real tough one was eating out so much. When we were visiting schools, we were getting tours, we were eating what they had to feed us there for lunches, then it was out to eat for dinners. It was lots of going by Starbucks, which I really just get an Americano there anyway. But lots of eating out, which one is crazy expensive. Like when you start doing that, even for just 3 of us, it's unbelievable. Every meal was $50 to $75, and it's crazy how much money that adds up to. But great experiences. I'm not saying I didn't have an awesome time. It was great, and I knew that it was going to be a lot of things out of my control. So coming back out of that, I wanted to talk about the basic principles to try to get back to, things to stick to, and things not to do as well, which let's just cover that right now. And that's, don't go into like huge restriction. Don't starve yourself. Don't go exercise for hours on end when you have time and now you can exercise. It's not about jumping back into it so aggressively that there's really no way to sustain that, and there's no way you can be motivated to do that. It's about getting into your basic habits, following the basic principles. And let's talk about number 1 here, and that's don't panic. Don't go crazy. Don't go, I got to go run 10 miles and then I'm going to lift weights. I'm not going to eat for 2 days. Just start over. Start today. I mean, this always reminds me of the scene in The Lion King, and Rafiki thumps the young Simba on the head, and young Simba says, "Ouch, what'd you do that for?" And Rafiki says, "Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's in the past." And Simba says, "Yeah, but it still hurts." Well, yeah, it's in the past. It still hurts, and there's nothing you can do about it at that point. But that leads us to number 2, and that is learn from the experience. What did you do to prepare for this trip, or what happened in this time frame, and what led this to be several days or a week or more of just kind of falling off altogether? Learn from what happened, what led up to that. Was it stressful events? Was it things that were basically out of your control? Did you realize that you thought you had these pretty solid habits in your life and everything fell apart with just a little bit of extra stress or things shifting in your schedule? You got to learn from that stuff, because that's how you become adaptive, and that's how you can start to live this lifestyle long term and look at it from a longevity standpoint. So number 3, get back to hydration. We got back super late Monday, basically woke up, made coffee. I had my smart coffee that I always drink in the mornings, and drank a bunch of water and just kind of hydrated and didn't really have much for breakfast. That was really just my smart coffee. And then back on it with lunch, had my salad and protein, which I had to kind of rely on whatever we had left for salad type of stuff. And then some packets of tuna just to have some kind of protein, mixed it with some dressing I had at work, and kind of made everything functional and work. But hydrating and then compressing that window that you eat. So I kind of did this like modified fast smart coffee, which is basically fat and a little bit of protein and some collagen and some MCT oils, and didn't really eat anything until about 12-ish, 12:30, and then kind of compressed that to lunch and then dinner by 6:30 or so, and compressed that eating window. Still got like a relatively normal amount of calories for what I try to eat on a daily basis, but also did what I'm going to talk about in number 4 here, which was just got back to my basics. It was getting my proteins in, going to vegetables and protein next, so making sure there's that combination in there just to start getting all those micronutrients and the fibers again. Stayed hydrated, got back on my schedule, which was getting 7.5 hours of sleep, stopping eating by 7 at the absolute latest p.m. so that I had 3 hours before I went to bed, and just hydrating with water at that point. Got back into all my supplementation, athletic greens in the morning, creatine and some essential amino acids for when I work out, and then back into my normal supplements I take during the day, vitamin E, D, and some magnesium at the end of the day, and then a couple little adaptogens. So back into my routines of my things, and back to my kind of basic elements of, I started to exercise again, nothing dramatic, nothing too crazy stressful. Actually I didn't exercise on Tuesday, took it a little easier on Wednesday, just moved and stretched and did a little bit of loaded stretching and a little bit of weightlifting. Same thing on Thursday, took Friday off, had a big day on Saturday like I usually do with some of my buddies, and feel great after that. I didn't lose a step with my athletic performance or how I felt. I actually took it as kind of this natural deload period of just doing a little bit less, and really got back on my sleep. By Wednesday evening to Thursday morning, I felt great, felt back to normal. And even if I had gained 2 or 3 pounds over this trip, which for me is actually a decent amount, by probably tomorrow or Monday, I'll be back right where I was before. A lot of it is just stuff built up, getting it back out of my system, eating my healthy foods and fibers again. So the big overarching theme for this is, don't panic, learn from your situation. What happened? What led you to this? Where are you at now? Start today, control what you can going forward, analyze those habits that kind of broke down, start to hydrate, compress your eating window, but get back to your calories that you're working on. If you're in a little bit of a deficit, hit those. If you're maintenance, hit those. Don't go to like huge restriction points and try to lose it all or get all back into it in the first 48 or 72 hours. And then back to your basics. What are your basics? What are your non-negotiables? What are your basics for nutrition, for movement, for rest, recovery, sleep? Get back into those things. See what you really need to analyze, that you need to like get better at in terms of those basic principles, but make sure those basic principles work for you. I call them like my hard lines of what I do. Even if I'm hungry, but I haven't planned for dinner and it's 7:45, I'm not going to eat, because I know that'll lead to bad sleep. So then that's going to knock out one of my other pillars I'm trying to hit, and it's probably not going to make me feel that good. And those are some of the things I did over the trip because the schedule was off, and I paid for it and I felt it. And so you learn from that. But everybody falls off. Everybody needs to reassess what they're doing and be flexible and dynamic with their lifestyle, but also stick to those basic principles and those hard stopping points that lead you to be this healthy person that lives this lifestyle through your life and health span, and makes you healthy long into your 80s, 90s, 100s, maybe later. So I hope this gave you a little bit of value. I hope it kind of reassures you that everybody stumbles, everybody struggles. Get back at it. Don't beat yourself up. Thanks for watching. Leave me some comments. Leave me some questions. Love doing this stuff.